Welcome to the first part of the application technical discovery of Creative Design Experience. We will start with a user interface quick tour. So first, about how to launch the application. Once on the 3D Experience platform, click on the compass to launch the Creative Design Experience application. It is represented by a S icon. At the opening, you will arrive on a welcome screen panel, which is here to onboard you on the application. After closing, you can retrieve it through the home icon. It will accompany you to learn more about the application through 5 quick and simple steps. First one is about navigation with the mouse or the stylus. If you are using a graphic tablet, make sure to download the latest driver and to configure the stylus. You can assign the middle click button to the lower button and the right click to the upper button. Make sure also to follow the calibration steps. Pages after are about discovering the user interface, the panels, the accelerators, but we will deep dive for the different subjects together. There is also a direct link to the user community. So now let's discover how to navigate. If you are familiar with CATIA, you will keep the same habit. You can rotate with middle and right click button, zoom in and out with the middle and right click as well. But also you can use the V-Navigation widget, which is located on the top right of your screen. You can simply select the face of the box you want to switch to go to a standard view. It's easy to switch from different viewpoints and also possible to rotate around the normal view with the little orange circle manipulator. So now we will discover the layer panel, which is on the left side of the interface. With it, you can organize your model using group and layer. It's possible to create a new layer, a new group, delete object, and also isolate the selection in the current layer. It is a dynamic panel where content can be dragged from one place to another. It will help you to navigate through your model and manage objects. There is different view mode available. The Explorer view mode to visualize what is inside each layer. And also you can have a preview of what is inside each layer with a more visual approach. You can also hide, show, or lock layers and group, but we will talk about it later on. So now let's have a look to the dedicated action bar section called Sketch and Shape. It is where you will retrieve all the commands to work on the application. First, the selection to select object. For each command, you will have a little reminder on the top to know which active command is on and a little description of what is expected from you. The commands are organized to follow the design workflow from image import to object creation, starting with sketch creation. Behind all commands, you have also a flyout where you have more commands to launch. So then there is how to edit the object you create just before with Transform and Mesh Edition. Also how to import, export object and convert object. To finish, you have a section dedicated to help commands. Here you have a shortcut dialog, also available with the H key shortcut at any time, and also the home, which is to retrieve the welcome screen. On top of the user interface, you find the immersive option bar to filter, visualize, and select elements of the base mesh. Let's start with the multi-selection mode option. You can choose here between trap or stroke multi-selection, and it's activated with the Shift key. With the trap, you will select everything that is inside a frame, and with the stroke, you will intersect all objects under your mouse gesture. With Shift and Control, you can add or remove elements to the selection. So now I'm selecting an object with the selection command, and I will launch the transform command to talk about the selection filter available in the option bar. Here I'm in object filter, so the base mesh of the object is hidden, and I'm able to move the complete object with the gesture-based robot. With the pre-highlight, it is easy to identify which object will be selected and moved. Now, if I change my selection filter to another one, it will display the base mesh of my selected object. We can start with the vertex selection filter. I'm able here to select vertices only, and the pre-highlight shows me as well which vertex I'm about to select and move. I use the Edge Selection filter to manipulate the object only by its edges, or also the Face Selection filter. With the Auto Selection filter, the right just after, I'm able to select any kind of element, faces, edges, and vertices all at the same time. So now let's talk about the selection propagation. It's possible to activate propagation by simply pressing the Alt keys, and it's working with any kind of element. I'm able to choose from different propagation type between linear propagation, from to, loop or field propagation. Here I choose the loop propagation and I'm pressing Alt to see the selection propagate. And if I add Control, I can at the same time multi-select and propagate. You notice that there is different color for the base mesh depending on the state of the elements. They can be neutral, preselected, selected, or not selectable. It's now possible to customize this base mesh through the Preferences panel. You go in the App Preferences tab, find Creative Design Experience in the Styling category, and you can change the color and the opacity for each element. Another important option is how the base mesh of the object is displayed. With the flyout, you can choose between different types of display. Here I'm using the projected base mesh, projected on the surface. I can switch to the distant base mesh, the polygonal base mesh, or also a new one that is called specular spotlight, which only shows you the element located around the mouse position. It lets you appreciate the final shape even while working on the base mesh. You can also change the area of the spotlight around your cursor. On the right side of the option bar, you have access to advanced parameters such as brush radius, snap filters, or step-by-step, but we will not talk about it for the discovery. Last one is the element display, where you choose to display hidden elements or hide them to prevent them from selection. The elements hidden by the shape are in low opacity and not selectable. With the other mode, you are able to select any element in front view or even behind. On the right side of the user interface, you will find the Object and Modifiers panel. They are both linked to the active selection, and on the top section you see the name of the selected object or layer. You can modify parameters such as graphic attributes, dimension, but also change the local axis and origin of each object. You can navigate through objects and edit their properties from this panel. We are also introducing modifiers, which are automatic operations that affect an object in a non-destructive way. You are able to perform many effects automatically, and there is two main types of modifier, geometric or visual modifier, that can be added to an object or also to a layer using the Add Modifier dropdown. I will give you a simple example here. I select an object in the 3D view, and I will add a pattern visual modifier on top of it. Once it is added, I'm able to edit the modifier properties in the panel or via the 3D. I can, for example, change pattern direction and also change the number of instances and automatically see the result in the 3D. You can add several modifiers to a single object. They will be added at the bottom of the stack. Thanks for watching this user interface quick tour.